people. Today we're on to another Christmas set. This is just a simple set with some holly embellishments. Took me about 2 hours to do. And we'll start off with some medium length stiletto tips. Well, as I say tips, they're full cover nails. They're not actually tips, but you guys know what I mean, I hope. I'm going to start off with white. And we're going to do all of them in white except for the ring finger, which will be our accent nail. As I'm doing this right now, it is the day after Thanksgiving, so I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. We had a pretty decent one here. In case you're wondering why I don't have gloves on, when I was at this point of doing these, I only had 15 minutes to get my base color on here before I had to quit for the day, so I didn't want to waste a pair of gloves for that little bit of time. So I was just trying to be extra careful and not get it on my hands. Okay, we're going to use this as a holo green. It does not pick up on camera, but when you see it outside in the sun, it is really pretty. And those guys are ready for curing, and we're ready to go on the second coat. They have been cured, and we're back. Just the same thing, second coat. And there's one of the hairs. Later on, there's another whole hair situation, but I've cut that part out so you don't have to sit through it. Of course, I had one on there that I just could not get off. I had to stop shooting my video and go back and get it out of there. And in they go for curing. And now we are back, and we're going to start with some gel paints. I'm using the Saviland gel paints, and I'll be using their red. And later on, we'll be using their silver. But I'm just going to paint like kind of a swoosh or a squiggly line, whatever you want to call it, down the center, kind of center off center situation. And then I will thicken this up in some parts on both ends for sure. And just at the top and bottom, we're going to make it thicker, and then it'll be a little bit thinner towards the middle. And then I'm going to just try to neaten up the edges of this red a little, because there's some little waggly stuff sticking out that I wasn't liking. We just want to smooth those out. I think I just created another one there. There, I think we've got it. Okay, then I am going to move on to the next one. And I'm going to show you one more, and then we're going to do the rest of them off camera. You're going to do this on all of them except for the green one. I wanted to have a set that was a little bit simpler this time after the last one that took me so long to get through it. And speaking of next time, the next set I'm going to be doing a gingerbread set. So stay tuned for that. That'll be next week. And okay, we're done. Like I said, I'm going to finish those rest off camera. Now we're switching to the green. This is the same hollow green I used on the accent nail. And I'm going to do a kind of a wider bit at the top that's going to then taper off into a real skinny like little bit and fade off like so, and then we're going to fill it in. Now I tried to make these green stripes a little bit heavier on the polish because I didn't want to have to do 2 coats of this, and it really does kind of need 2 coats, but in the interest of speeding things along, I didn't want to do 2 coats. So I'm trying to get it a bit heavier. It's really a shame that the hollow glitter does not pick up on camera, because it really is pretty, especially if you're outside in the sun, like I said earlier. I was trying to decide what I wanted to do on this side. For the most part, we're going to do on one side of the line a thicker bit at the top, and on the opposite side of the line a thicker bit at the bottom to taper it off. And that's what we're going to be doing on the rest of them. Now they're not all going to be exactly the same because the original red swooshy part is not exactly the same on every one. I tried to get them pretty close, but you know how that goes. And once again, I'm going to show you this one. This is the thumbnail, and then after that I'll show you one other one, and that's going to be it for the green. I will finish the rest of those off camera after the next nail. And FYI, I did cure the red in between before I started these green, in case I didn't say that. And we'll move on to the next one. Now, I'm not too sure how I feel about this set. I don't hate them. I'm not really sure I like them either. So, I do like the holly leaves and the way that turned out, but this part here with the swooshy stuff didn't quite come out the way I was hoping, but I mean, it looks decent, but not totally what I was going for, but well, I'll figure it out eventually. And there was a hair on there. I cut that whole part out. It took me like 5 minutes to get this hair off of there. And then it managed to drag through the wet green, and then I had green going on across the nail. It was a mess. I had to do a lot of cleanup for that. You know, this one I took up a bit higher than I really should have, you know, up the side of the nail. I kind of wanted it to end where the other green ends on the opposite side, but I went a little too far with that one. Okay, and I think I'm done with that one, and I will finish the rest off camera, and now we're going to move on to the silver. And this is going to have a full, like, this is going to go down both sides of the stripe, like fully, but some parts are going to be thick and some parts are just going to be a super thin line. like where it dips inward, I'm going to fill in somewhat with the silver, and then I'm going to just have a real thin line going up the rest of the, like outlining the rest of that side of the stripe. Just a very thin little outline along that edge. And the top too. And then on the other side, we're kind of going to do the same thing. Okay, on this side, we're going to do the same thing at the top of here that we've been doing on the top part, which is going to be a little bit of a wider uh, bit at the top. As soon as I make up my mind where I'm going with it. Not as wide as the other two were, but where it's going to taper off right there, but it is going to continue on down with a thin line down the rest of that side of the stripe. I figured since I did gold last time, I was going to go silver on this one. And when I'm doing the really thin lines, I like to kind of start up into where I had, heavier polish in the wider part. So I can kind of just pull down from there. And there we have it. I think I'm happy with that. Or not. Yes, I believe I am. Okay, we'll do one more again. Oh, sorry about that. And the same thing with this one. Sorry, I'm not feeling real chatty today. I think I got talked out yesterday when family was over here. Frankly, I'm just kind of relieved. We did have a nice Thanksgiving. I'm kind of relieved that we've gotten through it now and I can get back to my regularly scheduled stuff and relax a little bit more. It's always kind of hectic when I got my mom coming over here. She's one of those people that has to kind of inspect everything and let me know where I've missed cleaning things at and things like that. So I'm a little exhausted from the cleaning frenzy that happened all last week and the day before Thanksgiving. I think this is the first time I've used this silver of the Saviland. Or maybe not. I'm thinking back. I might have used it once before, but I'm pretty pleased with their gel paints. They go on nice and smooth, And they're nice and opaque. Okay, I've cured all those. Now we're moving on to the holly leaves. Now I didn't show you that polish, I forgot, but it's a Beetles polish. And it is number 253, which will be in the description anyway. But I've got my little holly leaf acrylic mold. And we're just going to put the polish in there, whatever color you're going to use. I chose to use this darker green so it would not blend in with the holo green that's already going to be on there. And I am just putting it out to the edges of the mold, where I will then get some alcohol on my brush and scoop it back towards the middle to clean the edges up so we don't get any little overflow bits hanging out, because then you have to take time to clean those off later and it's a pain in the neck. That one was a little shy for polish, so I'm going to fill it up some more. Oh, there goes another hair. And those have been in to cure 90 seconds on both sides. And now they're ready to come out. They're popping out quite nicely. Now I made some more of these off camera, so I ended up with like 6 or 8 of them at the end. Okay, and now we're going on with our top coat. I'm doing a tempered top coat on here. I was at the tail end of my bottle of top coat, so I finally used up the Vanillisa one on this one. So next time I'm starting with a different brand of tempered top coat, so we'll see how that one goes. And it better be good because I have a humongous bottle of it. And I'm having to play around, hold my bottle up and kind of get it to the side and get the last dregs of this out of there. And that will go in for curing. And now we're back. We're ready to get the holly leaves put on for the final step. There's the leaves I did. We're using red crystals for the berries. And then we will have gem glue. My trusty gem glue that I've been using for a good while now from Tina Tor. And eventually we're going to get some glue on here. Now I did get a little crazy with the glue on this one. I had a little bit more on there than I thought I had. So you probably don't need quite that much. And then we're just going to plop the holly leaves on there. Now these are still flexible a bit, so if you want to squish them down against the side so they lay flat with the curve, you can totally do that. They were laying fairly well for me, so I didn't bother with that this time. We're going to try to position them how we want, and then we will get on to putting the berries on there. I did end up filling with this a lot more than really was necessary. And eventually we're going to get some crystals going on here. I was trying to determine, I mean, these red crystals looked an awful lot like the orange ones that I had, and I was trying to decide why, are they really red? Because they kind of looked orange under the light I was using. But they are red. I need to get some more red ones though. Kind of a little bit of an orangey red, I think. But we're just going to use the smallest ones. And I'm going to cluster 3 of them together. Eventually, There's a lot of fussing that went on for the tiny amount of stuff that's on here, but eventually I'll be happy with it. It can go in for curing. Not yet, though. I decided that the leaves were not positioned to my liking, and I wanted my berries to be clustered together a little bit more. They were spread out a bit far. And whatever I'm doing right now, I don't know. There, that's a nicer berry cluster. And now that has caused my leaves to shift around, so now we got to move those again. So one thing nice about the gem glue is you can keep fiddling with stuff until you're happy with it. Then you can put it into cure. Whereas if you were just using like nail glue on there, once you stick it on, that's it. You ain't moving it. Okay, and then I will do, also we're going to do a little cluster on the thumb. Same way. It's going to be in the corner where that biggest white area is instead of right in the center. This one you can see how the glue is going on a little bit better. And we're just going to do the same thing. And this is where I'm going to be using the biggest of the ones that I made out of the mold. It had 4 different sizes. I went with the 3 smallest sizes because this particular nail set is sized out for small. So it's kind of smaller than the ones I normally am working on. Now if I had left those leaves alone like they are and got my berries up there, they would have looked nice like that. But I had to keep fussing with them as usual. And after we get this one done, they'll be in there for their final cure. The rest of them I've finished off camera. And once again, I want to get them clustered into a nice little cluster. And then we'll have to rearrange the leaves and the whole shebang again. There's a little tiny stem that you can barely see on the top of those holly leaves, and it was causing things to move around. So I was trying to get it to line up right in between some of those berries. There, that one went in nicely. I don't know about the other one, but I think we're happy with that. And there we are. There's the finished set, all cured, ready to go. If you like them, please go ahead and give me a like. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more, you can hit that subscribe button. I upload a new video every Saturday. I thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.